The Galactic Council Hall stood suspended in the orbit of a golden star, an enormous ring of crystalline alloy that shimmered like a halo in the void. Within its circular walls, voices of hundreds of species filled the chamber, a low rumble of outrage and disbelief. At the center rose the council platform, glowing faintly as a symbol of order among the stars. But today, order was dead. The council had gathered to discuss a single subject: humanity. The species that had once been seen as backward, primitive, and naive. The same species that now threatened to unmake the balance of the galaxy itself. When the delegate of the Arcan Dominion demanded silence, the noise gradually faded, leaving a heavy stillness behind. They dared to retaliate, the delegate rasped, his translucent fins shivering with anger. After we sanctioned their worlds, after we imposed trade restrictions, they struck. Entire fleets gone, whispers rippled across the chamber. Many could not believe the reports. Humanity had been quiet for years, compliant even, following the edicts of the Council after the conflict at the Rimworlds. The humans had signed peace accords, paid reparations, and withdrawn their military presence from disputed sectors. They had acted as if they had accepted their defeat. But now the silence of Earth had ended. The first signs came from the Ashura sector. An entire Dominion convoy, 40 ships, vanished. No distress calls. No survivors. Then the Trelan mining outposts went dark. Entire stations turned to dust by kinetic bombardment. And then the footage surfaced. A massive vessel emerging from behind a shattered moon, bearing the insignia of a blue sphere surrounded by 12 stars. The humans had returned. The council head, an elder being whose skin shimmered like molten glass, leaned forward. "This cannot be ignored," the voice boomed, amplified across the chamber. "We must decide how to respond to Earth's aggression before their reprisal escalates further." A representative of the Keln Alliance spoke next, his tone sharp. "Aggression? You call this aggression after what was done to them? We sanctioned their colonies, destroyed their fleets, and treated their people as lesser beings. Did you expect them to stay quiet forever?" The chamber erupted again. Some argued for immediate retaliation. Others warned against further provoking the Terrans. For centuries, humanity had been underestimated. Their technology, while adaptable, was considered crude by galactic standards. Yet somehow they always found ways to match and exceed what others believed impossible. One word now lingered in every mind: reprisal. On the outer edges of the galaxy, fleets gathered. The Terran vessels did not resemble the sleek designs of other species. They were angular, brutal, forged in function over form. Their hulls bore scars of ancient wars, yet beneath the armor pulsed something new, a power that even the most advanced sensors could not fully read. The humans called it the Sol Engine. Within one of those ships, a lone officer stood on the bridge. His gaze was fixed on the projection of the council hall. His face was calm, but his eyes carried centuries of resentment. "They will not understand until they feel what they made us feel," he said quietly. Around him, the crew nodded in silence. Every human aboard remembered the years of humiliation, the forced disarmament, the embargoes that starved colonies, the endless mockery of being called a lesser race among the stars. Humanity had endured it all, waiting, preparing, building in silence. When the Council had restricted Earth's weapon development, humans had simply gone underground. When they forbade human expansion beyond certain sectors, secret stations were built in the void. While the galaxy looked down upon them, humanity learned, innovated, and remembered. The first phase of their plan was codenamed Echo Storm. Using experimental stealth fields, human fleets bypassed the sensor grids that guarded the outer systems. They moved unseen, striking key supply lines and communication relays. By the time the Council realized what was happening, dozens of fleets were already gone. In the Council Hall, confusion turned to fear. The records showed human ships emerging from nowhere, firing weapons that ignored shields, disappearing before counterattack. It defied logic. It defied physics as they understood it. The Dominion delegate slammed a clawed hand against his console. "They are using forbidden technology," he shouted. "Phase matter weapons are outlawed under the Galactic Accords," the Keln representative responded coldly. "Perhaps they no longer recognize your authority." Then the holoscreens flickered. A new feed appeared, transmitted from deep space. The image showed a massive ship, larger than any dreadnought the galaxy had ever known, approaching the Arcan homeworld. Its silhouette was dark against the starfield, but its outline pulsed with lines of radiant blue. The humans called it the Vigilant Dawn. It carried no escorts. It did not need any. As it entered orbit, planetary defense grids activated. Thousands of plasma turrets and missile silos opened fire. Beams of energy brighter than sunlight rained upon the human ship. For a moment it vanished in the glare, then the light faded. The vessel still stood. The council delegates watched in horror as the dreadnought unleashed a single volley. It was not energy-based, not plasma nor ion. It was kinetic. Pure mass and velocity. The rounds tore through the planet's defense ring, punching through shield layers like paper. Then came the silence. The entire chamber watched as the feed went black. The council head turned slowly, voice trembling. They destroyed an entire defense network with a single strike. Across the galaxy, similar scenes unfolded. Human fleets targeted the strongholds of those who had once led the charge against them. Worlds that had demanded Earth's subjugation now burned beneath Terran retaliation. Yet humanity did not destroy indiscriminately. They targeted only military sites, government centers, and communication hubs. Civilian zones were untouched. The message was clear. They were not here for vengeance. They were here for justice. The Council tried to rally its forces. A grand fleet was assembled. Over 2,000 ships from 50 civilizations. It was the largest military force ever gathered. They called it the Coalition of Order. When the fleet entered the Orion expanse, they found the human armada waiting. But the humans did not attack first. Instead, a single transmission was sent across every frequency. A human voice spoke, calm, steady, unyielding. You treated us as less than you. You thought fear and control would keep us in chains. We offered peace. You answered with arrogance. This is our reply. Then space itself shifted. The Sol engines activated, bending light and gravity around the human ships. Weapons fired in perfect synchronization. The Coalition's front lines disintegrated. Their ships, reliant on shield harmonics, found those shields collapsing as human rounds phased through them. Every attempt to adapt failed. The battle lasted less than 20 minutes. When it ended, half the Coalition fleet was gone. The rest fled in disarray. Back in the council chamber, silence reigned once more. Delegates stared in disbelief at the battle logs. No one spoke. Even the most arrogant species among them could not find words. Finally, the council head stood. They could have destroyed everything, he whispered. Yet they stopped. Indeed, the human fleet had ceased its advance. Instead of pressing deeper into council territory, they sent envoys. Simple messages carried on encrypted channels. The same phrase was repeated in every tongue. Respect earns peace. Arrogance earns silence. The council met again, though now the tone was different. The delegates spoke in hushed voices, no longer with contempt but with caution. The once defiant Dominion now urged negotiation. The Keln proposed formal recognition of Terran sovereignty. Fear had become understanding, and then the humans arrived. A single Terran representative entered the chamber, clad in dark uniform, no insignia of rank, no ornament of pride. He walked calmly to the center of the hall and stood before the council head. You summoned judgment upon us years ago, he said, voice even. You treated us as subjects, not equals. You believed we would break. You were wrong. We came not to destroy but to remind you that humanity remembers. The council head bowed his crystalline head. What do you want? The human looked around the chamber. Only what was always ours. Equality. Freedom to stand without being told to kneel. You will never again dictate to humanity. We will not bow to your counsel. From this day, Earth speaks for itself. The chamber fell silent. No one dared object. Even the proudest empires knew resistance would mean annihilation. The human envoy turned and left, his footsteps echoing through the hall. Outside, a new dawn began to rise across the galactic stage. Humanity had reclaimed its voice. In the following months, the council restructured itself. Terran diplomats were given permanent seats, not as subordinates but as equals. Treaties were rewritten. The embargoes lifted. Trade reopened. But beneath the surface, unease remained. Every civilization understood now that the humans had capabilities none had anticipated. Some whispered that Earth had tapped into ancient technologies buried within Sol's core. Others claimed they had reached beyond known physics. But the truth was simpler. Humanity's greatest weapon had always been itself. They had endured extinction-level wars, rebuilt from ashes, crossed interstellar voids with sheer determination, and learned to adapt faster than any species known. Their reprisal was not driven by hatred but by necessity, to remind the galaxy that humanity was not to be dismissed. In hidden stations across the stars, human engineers continued,